Welcome to that Wedding Videographer podcast. I'm Danny.
I'm Jase. And today it's all about that 5-star service and how would you go about doing that? Because I clearly don't know how.
So like a five-star service to me is just that you are completely taking care of that client. So it's not just a number. It's not just a booking. It's a connection. It's a feeling. I think the crux of delivering a proper 5-star service, certainly in my opinion, and how I go about things, like a lot of it starts from building a relationship with the client as soon as possible, really, like just trying to make a connection, because again, I think we covered this off before, like in the branding episode, how or the social media episode, just about how these people that you're going out to, these clients that you have, they're essentially, they are strangers, and you, in this line of work, to do really well, you really need to be very, very good at building relationships really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. So from that first call, asking them questions, I think what I like to do is when I'm on the call with a couple, I will have the screen on. Obviously, I've got two screens, or I'll use like the iPad, and I'll have my CRM up, and I'll just take notes. So, like for instance, if they're talking about their pets, or they've got a little niece or nephew that they mention on the call, like a lot of the time they're giving you that information, maybe subconsciously, but subconsciously deliberately, because they're trying to share with you. And I think that for you to be cognizant and take note of that information, because let's face it, I mean, unless you've got a very, very good memory, you with the amount of couples that we speak to, you're gonna struggle to remember, what their cat or dog's name is. But I think if you have the intent to know that information is important, and then take it down, so that the next time that you catch up, for instance, on that call, because like you said, you might not speak to these, but you might not like properly speak to these couples again until maybe like that 8 or 4 week mark before the wedding. I always encourage my couples to get that I am contactable, I'm reachable. I say that is, in the confirmation email when they book, I said, don't be a stranger. Like, best way to contact me is Instagram. Just drop me a message anytime and I'll get back to you. So I think that's a massive part to play in it. But I think also another factor is your speed of response. I have always been, much to Kirsty's disdain, because she's sometimes like, you don't need to reply now. And I'm like, I know I don't need to, but I want to, because they've reached out to me and they've taken the time, and I don't want them, maybe if they've asked a question or they've sent an email, like there's obviously times when I'm like back-to-back weddings, or back-to-back weddings, and I take a day off with the kids, and maybe it's like I hate leaving it for the 3 days. I will normally jump on at some point during the evening just to send the reply off, and then just say, look, sorry, I've been busy, I've been at weddings, but and then give them the reply. So I think they're really, really two big factors about, because remember, again, going back to, you're a stranger to them as much as they're a stranger to you, kind of thing, and they've obviously paid you money. And especially if you don't have like much of an Instagram presence, because I know of couples that have maybe contacted me about, maybe because I am quite active on social media, and about their photographer that maybe hasn't posted anything in 4 months, and they're like, I've not really heard it. I've not really seen. They've not been on. Like, are they okay? Are they alive? So yeah, I think being present, building relationships, and your communication, speed and style has a massive part to play in it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's nice to be on the episode. I just let you go.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
That was half the episode there.
Sorry, I forgot I need to share this stage with someone else.
So 5-star service, why is it important? When it comes to like doing this job, reviews and referrals are super important, and an amazing way to ensure that you get that is by giving a 5-star service. And obviously, 5-star, we all know the hotel's top result. If you do everything above and beyond, you're going to get this 5-star service. I think it's about thinking what you can do additionally to filming a great wedding or filming it greatly. That's how you go about it. And I think what Danny does really well is establish a great connection with his clients throughout the process. And it's something that I've been doing better at over the years, because obviously I'm getting married in a couple of months. Yeah. And my process with the people who I've booked is that it has been quite quiet up until now. So we booked them all 2 years ago, and there's been 2 years of silence. Yeah. And I know I'm guilty of this as well with my clients, because we're just busy. There's a lot of stuff happening. But how good would it be? Like, I remember something that was really cool for me, and it's not to do with wedding related, but the first ever house that I bought, when I moved in there, the bank sent us this care package. Yeah. It had like mugs, it had like sugar
cookies and all that.
And I was like, that was a cool move. That was a cool move. I like that.
Jason likes free stuff.
I do. I like free stuff, yeah. Give me a mug if you can. And I just thought it was really cool. And I've always wanted to like send gifts to my clients to kind of help them out with certain things, planning them, or if like you mentioned, you're on a call with them and they mention a dog. Like, for example, I had a call today. They have a dog called Freddie. I want to get Freddie a gift. I want to get them like a treat little thing or something like that. That would be a super cool thing to do. It's obviously expensive to just like give every single one of your clients gifts, and it's not. No one's asking you to do it. But I feel like if you were to budget in something like that, it would be quite handy. Like, I do tend to send a lot of my clients coffee vouchers so they can go away. Like, you might be like stressing out with all the wedding planning going on 2 months before your wedding. Yeah. Here's a voucher for some coffee.
That's a cool idea.
And get yourself some coffee. Yeah. Like, it's like a tenner from me, but it's something that goes, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And also in my reviews, you can see that some people mention it's just something else to make them think about giving you a review or referring you to someone. I think going above and beyond. Yeah,
it's just been nice though. Like, because I think that's also something that I think that we can be a little bit in danger of forgetting sometimes, which is because we see weddings week in, week out, and we're at weddings, and obviously this is our job. So we see weddings all the time, but for that couple, like, that's the biggest day of their life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I'll even say it as well. Like, I'm guilty of not thinking about that like all the time, but I think we should be, and keeping that in the back of your mind. So you really want to make like, you don't want to be giving them that like, drive-through service.
You're kind of just another weekend to them. This is the biggest day of their life. For us,
It's not that we think that it's just any other weekend. It's just that it's our job. So and it's a best job ever. Yeah. It's like very, very lucky, very, very lucky to have it. But it's just we're more just used to it, and for them it's a once in a lifetime thing.
And as well, the role of our job in the day is quite unique. Obviously similar to the photographer, but whereas other suppliers are going to be handing over a product and then letting the clients use that, like a wedding dress or flowers or decor, maybe different from the band because they have a service to do as well. But the photographer and the videographer are going to be by their side all day. They've hired you to be a teammate on the day and guide them through it. They're going to want someone that they absolutely trust and that they know really well. And that just makes the job so much easier. So there's so many things that we could actually be thinking about doing before the wedding day to get them absolutely loving our service before we've even pressed record.
100%. There's actually so there's a celebrant in Scotland, Andrew D. Scott. You've maybe seen it before, but he sends them out emails like a year, 6 months before the wedding. Now, obviously, I mean, you can also get them set up so it's part of the workflow and things like that in your CRM and stuff. But I thought that's also a cool touch. and it's maybe something that I will incorporate. Because again, it's just another touch point. It's just letting them know that you're still here. Do you know what I mean? You're still important. Because I do think about that quite often, about how, you know, I've not spoken with all of them, because I encourage them to go and reach out to me on Facebook, and obviously I'll follow them and I'll like their stuff, but not everybody will kind of reach out, because, you know, some clients you'll have more of a connection with than others. But yeah, I thought that was quite a cool wee touch that he does. And he's also someone that's very, very, very new into the industry as well. You know,
he's had many years in hospitality, but he's obviously he knows how to communicate to people pretty well. But I think it should be in our mindset that the amount of times it gets to like 2 months before, a month before, we're like, we've not spoken to them in so long.
Yeah,
like, why is that? It's not difficult all the time if someone doesn't have a social media account. That's fair enough, but if they do have social media, you should be following them, you should be engaging with their posts.
Yeah,
I was discussing with you beforehand, like, you know, obviously we're saying send gifts to people. That's obviously a great way to boost your star rating, but that obviously costs money. A free way to boost engagement is send wedding advice, wedding reels. I've got someone who's getting married in July. They love Formula One. I send them a bunch of Formula One reels all the time. I saw a string quartet doing the Formula One theme song. I thought, you're walking down the aisle to this, send that to her. It's just... But
see, with that though, think how listen to that client feels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're invested in her. So I guarantee you will get a 5-star review from that alone.
If I catch the confetti shot.
Well, fair enough. Like, I mean, if you don't, it's a 4-star service. Jason,
a 4-star, at least got that.
Yeah.
But, it's not a home run quite yet. No. We need to deliver on that.
But it's a culmination of all the little things, you know. Because I mean, me personally, I don't send gifts out. I have thought about it for so long. It's more just like I don't know what the kind of like the gift of choice should be, and I've probably just tried to put it on the back burner. But 100%. It's like also I know that some people send them like it's like an onboarding pack, and I guess it's maybe kind of similar to what you were talking about there, which is you know, like the table planner thing or a budget calculator. Although you know, because I think as well we're in the position, well, we're starting to become into the position where videographers are getting booked alongside the photographers. Pretty much it's going venue, photographer, videographer, as it should be. But just because they're obviously normally the kind of bigger stuff out the way, and we get booked up a lot quicker. So that also is quite cool. But again, it just... It depends. It depends on where you're at with your price point and how much kind of maneuverability you've got there with, you know, being able to kind of like cost it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessary.
And it's not a necessity.
It's not a necessity to send them a Starbucks voucher or something. I think a tenner out of the budget is okay to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm quite comfortable with being able to do that. But free assets, for example, like I'm getting married in a couple of months. I've made a table planner on Excel myself. It's just a simple formula that I've made. I am going to be duplicating that and branding it up and sending that out as an onboarding thing. So whenever someone does book me, they're going to get a table planner. Now, I know when they book me, they're not going to be planning that for another year or something, but they're going to have it. They're going to remember that I sent it to them. I'm going to be trying to incorporate like a monthly wide newsletter to all of my followers of wedding reels that I've saved that month, like just advice or funny things, just to kind of keep that engagement going, so that when we do actually go to talk, we've got something to talk. Oh, remember that reel I sent you or something, or remember this funny thing. It's just like I hate the idea of not really knowing people before the wedding, because you want to get the most out of them, and you could be banterful, you could have a lot of banter in the morning, but really having that connection, it's not difficult to do if you put a little bit more effort in.
And just kind of following on from that there, see, on the actual day, you do get so much more out of them because they're comfortable with you. They've got a connection. You're at that point, you're not a stranger, even though you've never actually properly met. But you know, and that's also then why having your face on social media is also, in my opinion, is it's again, it's not a necessity because loads of people don't have their face on there and do pretty well, but I think it's another way that people can feel that they can connect with you, put a face to the name. And again, because I get folk all the time that will speak to me and be like, oh, I feel like I've followed you for ages, I feel like I already know you, and we'll talk about, for instance, like Kirsty and the boys, because I talk about, and I'll put them on stories and stuff.
Yeah, because the thing with this is, like, obviously a lot of people after the wedding just send a blanket email saying, hey, would love a review. And obviously if you've probably made a decent impact of the day, they probably loved the video that you created for them, but when they think about their whole wedding journey, if you've been a part of that from throughout it, and really, they're going to really tell that you've invested time in helping them enjoy this day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot easier for them to go, you know what, I'm going to click that Google link, I'm going to give a review. And when you just do this consistently and you see your reviews climb, reviews aren't necessarily a way that you're going to get bookings, but what a way of social proof that is.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, because you've done really well at getting reviews. So like that, and to be in the position you kind of you can do the math. It's obviously painting a picture of your business that's really trustworthy, and people love working with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these steps are super important to factor into your strategy when you've got people booked. It's not necessarily difficult to do. Yes, we've got a lot of editing to do, but our social media shouldn't necessarily always be focusing on reaching new people. It's focusing on who have you got on board right now, who's on the journey, who's part of your team, what are you going to do to make their wedding journey a bit better today.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, agree. Yeah, the review thing, you're right. It's not like, again, loads of people book countless weddings a year and don't really have reviews, but I think for me, I just wanted to reaffirm that kind of trustworthiness, so that when someone types Rizzo Films into Google and they see the amount of reviews, and then when they're searching for other vendors maybe, and they're like, wow, he's got like a lot of reviews in comparison to maybe somebody that doesn't. And again, it's with that trust, and it really helps, I feel, with people, almost like with the first step of not being wary of like inquiring. Do you know what I mean? I think that also has an impact on I can't quantify that, but I just have a feeling.
Yeah, I think obviously people think that the Google reviews are linked to your SEO, and I'm sure there's some sort of form of ranking with that. I know
there
that,
is.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, obviously you need to have some, I think, to be up there. I've not got too many reviews, and I perform quite well in SEO, but I have enough maybe to justify it that, okay, that is who he says he is, and that is the service that he provides, and he's obviously doing a decent job.
I mean, you can still rank without the reviews. I think what it does is, though, it's like what it's essentially doing is just telling Google that you are still kicking around. Do you know what I mean? So you're still relevant.
Yeah.
Because people are actually like other Google users are going on the page to review your services. Yeah. And as long as that keeps on happening, it's like, I mean, SEO's a whole other podcast, but it's like updating your pictures on Google and stuff like that as well is another thing that you can do. But yeah, the reviews for me were just really, really important, something that I kind of focus on, and I just kind of always make a point. Like if I've had clients before in the past that have said, where can we leave you a review? Some have left me a review before they've even had their gallery. I kind of prefer to make sure that they've got the gallery and they're all happy with it. So some will be like, oh, like send a review after maybe getting the teaser, and I'm like, no, just like plenty of time for that. Don't worry. Like, thank you. Really, like, stoked that you want to leave me a review. But yeah, I'll normally ask it after I've sent the film, they've watched it and they've told me. I get that, oh my God, like, we were crying, it's so amazing, Danny, thank you so much. And I'm not just straight at that point like, leave me a review, but I'll say to them, I'm so happy you loved it, and I'll maybe I'll pick points out of the film, or maybe like the speech or something like that, and kind of highlight points and say, well, really, really love this bit, Jason, mate, you absolutely smashed your speech, so good. Being genuine, and then I'll then say to them, since you're happy with the films and you're happy with the gallery, it would be really awesome if you could leave me a review, and I'll just say to them, that being a small business, reviews help massively, and it lets other kind of potential couples know about your experience, and it would be awesome if you could leave one. And I would say a high percentage do. Not everybody does, because people get busy, and there is a bit of a time investment there. But I also think that's also why it's a good time to ask once they've said that they've watched it, because they're going to be at that point. They're really invested in you. If you're maybe asking a month or so down the line, because you also want to get those those emotive feelings that they're still in when watching the film.
Yeah.
Because that is the best bit about the job. Do you know what I mean? It's that first watch and then they get all the butterflies and stuff, and that's.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on taking communication away from an email and, let's say, maybe using WhatsApp, for example? Because whenever couples sort of come on board, I create a group chat between us.
Yeah.
So I call it the surname wedding, and put like a logo of basically their faces as the logo. And whenever there's like a major update and stuff, I do it through WhatsApp. But whenever they get a teaser, I'll say, hey, your teaser's ready, but I'll do it through a voice note. So or a video. So they actually get to see me, and it's a little less personal, a little more personal than an email. So when they receive that video, then they see their teaser, and they're more likely to respond with a video or a voice message. And then I can get the communication for there. Is that something you've ever done or would think you're doing?
We've talked about it before in the past. I think when you were exploring it, because when I was the kind of head of sales for a local startup in Glasgow a few years ago before Deliveroo, and that was something that we tested, and we've seen a massive uptick in response rates, and it totally works. It does totally work. I have not done it just because of the time investment, because I've got 2 kids, and it's a little bit of a faff. Not always looking my best, because
that's the problem.
Well, this is it. When you have kids that don't sleep, and I get you up during twice during the night, and then have you up at 6 on the button, you're not always looking so fresh, but it's definitely something that I would want to do. I think I probably haven't done it, because I think if I was going to do it, I'd want to do it for everybody, and I don't know if I can commit to doing it for everybody, rather than putting them off. Be like, oh my god, this guy.
Hello, I've just woken up and I'm thinking of you. I was on the bender last night.
Not had my coffee or my 15th coffee of the day, but I think it's a really, really personable thing, and I think that nobody does it.
Yeah,
Probably for the same reason that I don't do it at the minute. But see if you can do it. 'Cause I think you need to be. You're a confident guy. So it's all about the confidence.
The confidence.
But it is though, because if you send them, I think you need to be confident in that message and be a very a pretty good communicator. I'm struggling here, but you need to be quite a good communicator to not come across as a bit awkward.
Oh, for sure. It's not what we're saying here isn't like absolute ideals of what you should be doing. It's opening up a thought of, oh, maybe you could do this if you haven't thought about doing it before. Like, it has had great success for me, basically just picking a phone up and going, oh, hey, yep, got your inquiry, or hey, like, this is your teaser now ready. Like, it doesn't always happen first take either. Like, and it's amazing what a hat can do.
I must try that. And
just making you look more presentable. Just put a hat on, saves the day. That's it. So yeah, business upstairs, nothing down below. Just have that in mind if you ever get a video message from me. Yeah, but I just think people feel more seen when you're talking directly at them and you're making it more personal rather than just sending an email. Yes, workflows make things easier, but workflows can also be there to remind you to do certain things. And if people are seen less like just another date in your calendar and more like the couple and the story that they actually are about, that's going to increase the chances of you getting these reviews, getting these referrals. If people get married and they talk to their married friends and say, what was your favorite thing? If they come up with a supplier that really made a difference to them, you're always going to get spoken about. Regardless, everyone might be really good at shooting on the day, but you could be memorable before the wedding day. You can get referred before you've even shot their wedding. Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened to you before.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah. So yeah, these are all different things that don't necessarily cost the earth, but could dramatically increase your credibility as someone in this industry. Because that's really all it comes down to. Our leads come from referrals and referrals and word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, it's your reputation.
Mm-hmm. Let's do some takeaways, right? What could people do based on this conversation here? Like, what could people go away and start thinking about once they've got another booking coming in?
I think they should, if they're not trying to connect with their client, if you're not trying to connect with your clients on like Instagram, if they're following you on Instagram, you're not really following them back, or you're not saying anything, like, or maybe, you know, if they put like stories up or whatever, maybe you are following them, but you don't really interact with them, start interacting with them.
Mm-hmm. Ask them what their handles are if you don't have them already. I have it on my inquiry form.
Yeah, I need to add that to my inquiry form. I like actually just, I kind of make it a bit hard for myself at the moment, actually. That's something that I'll take away, because I just put two and two together between the person that's just followed me and then the person's name, but sometimes not everybody's name is like, you know, it could be like we Hammy or something like that, and it's like, who is this?
On the booking form, I've got let's be friends, put your Instagram handle here, I'll follow you back. So they put that on there. As soon as it's done that, I follow back, and that creates the chain.
That's one thing I don't do though. I personally don't follow until they book.
Yeah, I mean, I do follow beforehand as well, which means I do have a bunch of people who've actually ghosted me still following me, which is fun.
That's kind of why I just.
But eventually, I just don't follow if I need to. But like,
I would just forget.
But yeah, I will be taking a note to do more wedding search. If I find wedding reels, I'm just going to create a bunch of DMs. Just get right in their DMs and send them these wedding reels, and I think it'd be good value because maybe they're seeing it themselves. Another thing, I didn't even think about this. We should be asking for their Pinterest board because a lot of people.
I thought you were going to say their PIN number.
We should be asking for the digits. The Pinterest board, right? A lot of people plan their wedding through Pinterest boards.
Yeah, Kirsty done it.
So Jean hates Pinterest for some reason. She just doesn't find the time of it. But some people do work through that. And I think if you get their Pinterest board, you can then suggest ideas for it based on what you've seen. If you had if you were so inclined to look at things like that. But yeah, I always like to tell people they're on Team Afterglow and I'm in your corner and I'm going to be sending suggestions and stuff. Did we actually talk about like giving referrals to them? Like another part of the service is like ask them what suppliers they need. What stage of the wedding are they at? Yeah.
So Again, once coming off the call, the initial inquiry call, I will say to them and just say, like, if you need any suppliers at all, say who have you got, who are you missing? You know, I'm sure you, and I'll say to them, I'm sure you've maybe got folk that you're liking already, but you know, if you're struggling or if you want me to, I can send you on a list that I know are great. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every time, I don't think I've ever had somebody that said no. Because it's good to get options because we are so connected in the wedding industry. A lot of these people are, you know, having to type into Instagram and
like
maybe
band. But
exactly. But that's not generally what you type. Although obviously Instagram is getting a little bit better, but some will just rank higher than others sometimes. So it's another great way of just making sure that you're going above and beyond. I think that's another thing with 5-star service. You're doing more than the bare minimum. A lot more than the bare minimum, and that's a prime example of it. You know, you doing your WhatsApp video thing, 100%. I think if if I wasn't so bleary eyed all the time, I would 100% do it, because I know firsthand how much of an impact it has.
Yeah.
The giving them extra value with, you know, the budget calculator, and they might not use it. It doesn't matter, you know, because a lot of these things you've already made it. It's good to go.
Yeah.
But again, it's just another. Even if they don't use it, they'll be like, oh, that was.
Yeah. If you've
that was
got
nice.
any sort of basic knowledge with Excel, or to be fair, you can actually go on Canva or any other sort of website and get a kind of example. In fact, even Excel has templates that you can just put your own branding onto.
Yeah.
And then just send that out. And at least they go, when it comes round to that table planning or that budget calculator, they're going to go, you know what? Our videographer actually sent us a form like that. Let's go back into the emails and look it up. And they're going to remember that it was you that sent that. So send any assets that you think are going to help them plan their wedding. I think that's a free resource. It's going to take a bit of time to maybe get the things set up, but you can, once you've set it up, you can send it to every single couple that book with you. And I think that's a great way to improve your service. Obviously the WhatsApp messaging, that's something that's optional. I think not everyone's going to have the confidence to do it. Maybe people just want to send voice notes. You don't need to do a video. I think voice notes are quite fun and personable.
Voice note.
You love a voice note.
I do love a voice note.
God.
And I used to hate them.
Really?
I honestly, I couldn't stand them.
Every voice note you send me is like a full podcast. It's like 6 minutes here, 8 minutes there. I'm like, okay, I'll go get a coffee and sit down.
I know.
I can't reply. I can't interrupt you. It's so annoying.
That's how I like it, Jason. How
down and
doth one put someone on mute? No, the voice note is definitely good, and it's another step in the right direction. It's probably a good like halfway point. It is probably a good halfway point. I might actually do that, to be honest. But I would love to do the video, because I just know firsthand how impactful it is, and also, which is so good for you for content. The getting the video back, you can potentially, you know, post maybe not all of it, but part of it on Instagram stories, which, you know, see again other couples seeing other couples' emotive reactions. For instance, say you've sent the gallery or whatever, and you do a video to say, you know, hope you love it or whatever.
Even with voice notes, you can put their video, their teaser video above, and put the audio as a soundtrack to that. Say, we got this video, this is about it. It's a great way to market that. That's obviously once you've got it back. This is obviously if we're focusing on how to improve the service beforehand. Yeah, like the voice notes are a great way to communicate with them, because they know your voice already. It's already, it's not just like the message has been delivered in the way that you want it to be delivered in, not how they're reading it, because they could be stressed one day and just take things the wrong way potentially. But so yeah, being more communicative on WhatsApp rather than email is definitely a way to increase it. Obviously, it does allow them to access you kind of 24/7 within reason. It's up to you to kind of set those hours. I'm quite comfortable sending a text at 10:30. I know some people might not be. Most people probably wouldn't be.
I mean, I've done Instagram messages.
Yeah, I'm like always on
to midnight sometimes.
I'm always on.
But can't
help it.
I wait for somebody to like initiate that first one to me.
We're not encouraging you work 24/7, but like sometimes you're just so involved in your business that it just kind of takes over any spare minute that you've got. So that happens. Something else. So we spoke about WhatsApp. We spoke about assets that they can send to them, and sending them sort of recommendations to. What else did we cover in this episode?
Gifts. So I guess if your price point allows you to have that room, or I mean, you can do maybe like a smaller gift or something like that. But send in something like a wee care package or something like that.
I think what you were saying of in the calls, taking notes of names, maybe if there's birthdays and something like that. I would love to send them birthday cards, but I don't really take date of birth, so I'm not sure if I should be, but I'd love to like just work that in somewhere, because if they may have a birthday, it's obviously another step too far, because you're just bridging the, you know.
Before you know it, before you know it.
All I need is their mother's maiden name, and I'm golden. Like, I'm right in there. But no,
I mean,
so
we've
birthday's
already got the PIN number. So.
I know. But obviously, you mentioned things like the dog. Like it'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Like at Christmas, something like that. Like I know.
I think as well because not all couples, but like there's still like a lot of couples that maybe haven't got kids yet, and they have pets, and they are for people that have or have had pets. They are your fur babies, like so they are their kids, you know. So I think you taking an interest in them again is just it's like another brownie point in your favor that the overall is just going to improve the overall experience. And then again, when it comes to that on the day, you're going to have a much better connection, and ultimately you will get better footage from it that then makes them a better film. Yeah. So
like take note of what breed of pet they've got. Include that pet memes in your emails. Like the communication shouldn't just be all about business. It should be like, okay, and how's Freddie the Labradoodle going on? Like maybe send a meme or a reel or a TikTok that you've seen of a Labradoodle being stupid. Just extra connection, because I can tell you, if being a dog parent myself, like I am obsessed with sighthound videos. Any snoot that I see, I'm like, oh. And I just need to see more. So yes, I would really appreciate.
I miss having a pet.
Yeah. Oh, take it down a notch there. Let's talk about you and your feelings and your pet.
Just reminiscing about having a little fur baby. But yeah, it's important. Again, it's just you taking an interest.
Yeah,
which people really, really appreciate. Because especially if you've not spoken to them in a year. And you know, in the email or on the call, you're like, you know, you see them on the call, and before you go, "Hey, Freddie, how are you?"
Yeah,
and they'll be like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
So
I think taking real interest is something we could all do better at.
Being present.
Definitely. It's definitely something that going forward, I want to be on top of that, because I think it's going to make such a massive difference going forward into the actual wedding day. Obviously, if the budget does stretch to it, I think sending like a 10 quid Starbucks voucher or something, especially like 2 months before the wedding when everything starts getting a little bit stressful, you're telling them to like, hey, take a break, go out together, get yourself some coffee. Yeah. It's on me.
I really like that.
It's idea. A small gesture, but I think it's just something that, hey, let's go spend Afterglow's Starbucks voucher, and it's just another thing. Like
you're taking care of them.
So one of my questionnaires is like a getting to know them question, and it's like ask them like, oh, if we're at the bar, what are you drinking? If we're at coffee, what are you drinking? Something like that. I kind of fit these questions in, so I kind of know what they're having already. So I know if they don't even drink coffee, don't get them a Starbucks voucher. If they like beer, like get maybe a voucher here. Some of the restaurant thing, like I took advice from you, and I know some people don't drink. I know they eat, so I kind of find a gift voucher for a local restaurant to them. Yeah. So yeah, things like that. Any little thing that you can do to help make their life a little bit easier, I think is great service.
100%.
That's our episode on how to improve your service and hopefully get some more 5-star reviews coming your way, because 5-star reviews are awesome. So you've been listening to That One Videographer podcast. I've been Jase. This has been Danny. If you do want to get in touch with us, feel free to get us on Instagram. Send us some voice notes. We'd love to get your voice featured on the podcast. You can ask us any questions. Tell us what your opinions are on getting a 5-star service. And if you thought any of the tips were useless, we'd love to hear that too. Just fire at will, if you will. And
remember, leave us a 5-star review.
Of course.
Leave a review of the podcast.
Yeah, speaking of 5-star reviews, like if you've got
amateur night over here, honestly,
value from this podcast at all, I will not be sending any of you any Starbucks vouchers. I'm not going to remember your dog's name, and
I will.
You're just a number to me, so
you're special to me.
At least give a 5-star for Danny, because he cares.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Apparently, this is what people do. They ask for 5-star reviews on podcasts. I've heard it all the time.
It would really help us out, though, especially because we've obviously just started the podcast. fairly recently, and we are all about just trying to help upskill the the wedding industry, especially in the UK, because that's where we're based and that's where our skill set lies. So yeah, it would be awesome if you could leave us a little review. It would mean the world. And also if you've got any feedback about the setup, please get in touch and share your thoughts.
And if that's not incentive enough, we'll do some shout outs for the reviews.
Yep.
So if you want to shout out on the podcast, leave a review. Also leave us a DM with a voice note and you'll be appearing on the podcast potentially if you've got something good to say. So happy with that?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Till next time.